So
Would
Linda,
she
I'm kind
make a great president?
Stop. This is Friday the 13th, October 13th, 2017, Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I just realized it's Friday the 13th when you said that. I can't believe I hadn't thought about that.
You got through all day today not realizing it was Friday the 13th? It's been a Friday the 13th week for me.
But it's just Friday for me. I'm off on Fridays. It's just Friday.
It's been a long, strange week, but it ended good. It ended, the last email that I got was from a client who said thank you. That's what I live for. You know?
Right
Yeah.
there, yeah.
I found out
Exactly.
another client's talking about retiring, and they're coming one after another.
For you, Sarah, they're retiring. They're not even like selling the business to anyone else.
Every one of them has a different situation. The one today was another executive director who said, I'm 64. And I'm like, seriously? I can't do anymore. And she's like, yeah, so I need to start, and so it wasn't even on my radar. So that'll be 2 executive directors going out in the next year.
Oh, so if you're nonprofit,
they want to leave
you don't know what's gonna
everything.
come.
But they're not leaving you. The company is not leaving you. Just the executive directors, right?
No, I'm pretty stable that way. But both of these executive directors are very hands-on with the accounting, and they have their accounting in-house. And the next executive director can't be expected to do that. So I want to implement, Mineral Tree or Build.com. I've got some plans. That's what we were chatting about today is like, there's other things that we really could automate and get off of her plate so that when she does, retire, that the person coming in, it'll already be set up and running smoothly.
Right. Get those systems in there now so they walk
Exactly. And then I had another one. I didn't think they'd ever retire. And so that one's got kids that can take over. And then I have another one. I think they're all just going to work until they drop. But I've talked to the son, and he all he wants to do is sell. He doesn't want to own or run it.
Right.
And I'm like, well, somebody better start grooming somebody.
Right, exactly.
But all of a sudden, I just felt. I looked at my client list, and I've had such lovely clients, and a lot of them since the 80s.
Wow.
And I have an attorney who's retiring. So, and then I go, well, I guess I'm 56. I guess I guess my clients were older than It's just hitting me all at one time. It feels like.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that. I think
because they consider themselves old. Just don't do that.
Don't do what?
Don't consider you old because they consider them old.
that doesn't mean you're old, Sarah.
I'm only 3 years behind you. Don't consider that old, please.
I probably need to be at least another 10 years. But.
All right, so that's
I know a CPA that retired when he was 60, and that lasted a year, and he's gone back to work, and he's still working right now. So he said he got tired of playing golf.
I have so many things that I would do. I don't think I would get tired.
That's what you're saying now. That's what you're saying now.
Well, I don't know. I'm involved in other groups, and I have a lot of other interests. Like I have my historical society.
Got her store on Amazon. Oh my God!
You what?
What's
store on Amazon?
Oh, I forgot to click on that.
What's the historical society, Gina?
My local area that I live in. I'll come back to that, Linda. I'll come back to that. The local area that I live in was actually founded back in the 1600s before the United States was the United States. So there is tons of history around here.
Well, I've told you my degree is in history, didn't I? It's not in accounting.
Yeah, you have. You have.
You told us that.
You
So-
went a
What?
whole left field, didn't you, Dennis?
Pardon me?
You went way left field on that one, didn't you?
Well, what happened was back in about 1974, because I had a degree in history, my first job was selling shoes. And so it was like after Christmas, he says, Dennis, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. He says, the good news is you're getting paid today. The bad news is this is your last paycheck.
Oh my
So
Oh my goodness.
So I applied all these management these employment agencies looking for management training jobs, and said, this degree in history is really interesting, but have you ever had any accounting? and then finally I went to an employment agency, and the guy says, oh, I see you're having a lot of trouble getting a job. And says, be honest with me. He says, why would anybody hire you when they can go out and round up people like you off the street corners? So I thought, maybe I should take some accounting. And so that's how I decided to take accounting. Was that?
Wow.
Wow.
It was good advice. It was good advice. But it was
Yeah, but that was kind of a backhanded slap.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it was true.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
kinda
gotta
like
figure out where the money is.
That's
yep.
exactly
So that's how I became an
Hopefully you
accountant.
enjoyed it.
How I became an accountant.
So you didn't even
Enjoyed
think
it.
about the classroom, huh?
Well, that reminds me of when I'm talking with people, I want to kind of let them know I'm really expensive. So I wait till, and I said, well, I'm going to give you a free hour of consultation. I'm going to explain the different things that I found that are wrong with your QuickBooks Online file and have been wrong for like the last 10 years.
Oh.
And I really don't think I don't think it's worth cleaning it up, because cleaning it up is very different than doing it right. So we'll meet, I'll discuss it, I'll show you the situation, I'll give you a couple of proposals, and if you can't afford me, because, to be honest, I'm one of the higher priced people because I'm really, really good.
Right.
Don't you love that confidence?
I can show
Love it. I love it.
that may not be as good as me, depending on what it is you decide you want to do and how you want to move forward. So, but it's really easy then. I'm learning to be really tactful about the whole thing. And it's amazing when you do that. A lot of people will say, at this point, I can see that my little method of saving money by not wanting to spend money, it really didn't work very well. So I'm going to actually spend money and get it done right.
Exactly.
Very nice. Very nice.
I saw my little guy the other day. He said, I'm getting ready to get a whole bunch of work. And I said, okay. Because, your son is doing your QuickBooks. So we got to just go sit back. I don't say anything at all for anything. I said, okay. Good luck. That's all I can say.
Some people need to learn. They do. They learn the hard way, and then they come back and that's why my clients don't stay fired.
So Linda, how close did the fires get to you down in Southern California?
Well, I'm probably about 30 miles away.
That's all?
That's it.
Yeah. It's in Anaheim Hills, which is south. There's a valley. I'm kind of on the hills going up toward the mountains to the north. And if I look down, there's a valley, and then the fires are kind of where the hills start going up on the other side of the valley.
Oh.
And it's a good sized valley. One of the things that down here, we're all really used to everything being dry. And we've learned to put what they call a defensible space around all of our buildings so that hopefully it won't come in, the buildings aren't too close together. And where it was fairly rural, and a lot of people had horses. And what they did is they actually did a lot of posting out on Facebook to horsemen's associations and that, and they said, anybody that has a truck or a horse trailer, please come down. We're trying to get the horses out. Some people are actually walking horses out from the area. which is hard to do. They'll put a blanket over their eyes so the horses don't freak out. But
are they close to getting it put out or anything? Are they anywhere near putting it out?
yeah, the one down here, they've got it about 60% control. Like what they do is they actually put a line around it. What they do is they take shovels and rakes and things like that, and they get down to bare, dry ground. So that's maybe like 100 feet wide, and they call that a fire line because there's nothing that will burn there.
Right.
Actually, this one is called the Canyon Fire 2 because 2 weeks ago we had the Canyon Fire 1, and it was in the same general vicinity. This one started kind of right next door, but it went because we had the Santa Ana winds blowing.
Right.
The desert toward the ocean. So you have very hot, dry air coming through. And all you got to do is have somebody digging with a shovel or using a chainsaw, and you get a spark, and that spark just takes off. Now, in Northern California, what happened was there were all these old power poles.
Right.
PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric power poles. They had 80-mile-an-hour winds. The 80-mile-an-hour winds were knocking over the power poles. They were blowing up as they hit the ground. And that's why they got so many different fires starting up in Northern California. And the people, everything was so close together. They're used to rain up there. It usually rains up there.
Yeah, I saw closest.
They can have some of this down here. We haven't.
Yeah.
Hey, look, they told us every day our lake is rising, and
I know.
within 2 months, I'm out of here. I'm getting out of here. I'm not gonna be one of those fools still sit there waiting on the dam to break.
So,
Well, it seemed like some people got.
so much rain that it's like at 17 feet now.
Wow.
And they're telling us that it's rising even more, you know, and I'm like,
Right.
I can swim, but I can't swallow all that water.
thing for us is the Las Vegas shootings. Half of the people that were shot and killed were from Southern California, and half of the people shot were from here.
Oh.
Is anybody you knew personally?
Funerals in this area.
Is there anybody you knew personally?
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like, it's just like back in Florida, they had actually they had in Houston, the hurricane, and then they had the other hurricane, and now the third hurricane, I guess, just got Puerto Rico and killed Puerto Rico.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's insane, all of the crazy stuff happening all across the United States now.
Well, my
You know what? I can
Mark's
deal with
daughter's
the natural disasters better than I can with men taking man. I'm sorry,
Mark's daughter's in the middle of a blizzard.
Your daughter's in the middle of a blizzard?
Yeah, last time we talked to her,
Where is that?
Colorado.
Wow.
So here we
Already?
are, 90-something degrees in October. I've never, ever remember October. October is our month, you know. It's just so gorgeous around here. And it is miserable out. It's just so surreal.
I'm sorry. That's weird because you're up there in Georgia. I'm down here, and it's actually very, very nice because our temperature's been ranging between 74 and 79. With a nice little.
Oh, I wish for that. And this is the time of year when they're having all the outdoor stuff, and Mark's doing his ride to Augusta charity ride. So
On the bike?
they cycle 144 miles, and that's next weekend. And he's like, I'm not gonna be able to do that if it's hot.
I lasted a whole 8 minutes on my bike. I'm proud of myself.
A little bit chilly over here.
Yeah, a little bit chilly here. Larry, you and I are pretty close. You're from Pennsylvania. And it, but
70 degrees.
Go ahead.
Are you 70 degrees?
No, we didn't reach 70 today. We were at 66.
Oh, Lord, gee.
I saw 68 here. I don't know.
Degrees different.
When you think
I
about
don't know, I
it,
just have a
y'all
feeling
66 is a lot different from my 66. Mine's is hot.
Well, yeah, because we have the humidity. It just feels different.
We have the humidity too, but when you start getting down in the 60s, it is a little chill.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're used to 80, 90, whatever.
So what's Ada going to tell us about? We need to hear from.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So what are we talking about?
Sit over there just.
Yeah,
Sure,
introduce yourself
sure.
first of all, and let's talk about what's going to happen next week.
Yes, yes. So hi, everyone. My name is Ada Barlat, and I'm your Cheerful Operations Ally, and I work with small business owners to help them implement systems and technology to maximize their minutes and grow their business.
All
And
right.
we're going to talk about Google Forms, which is part of the Google Suite or G Suite. So I'll be walking you through a tutorial on how to build a Google Form. We'll chat about some different ideas and how you can use these forms in your business. And then I'll introduce you to a really awesome and powerful Google add-on called Awesome Table. And we'll walk through a very high-level example of creating a directory. So it should be a lot of fun. And if you have a Google account, you can access all the stuff that we'll be talking about next week. So
Well, I'm hoping that we can do what I call a workshop, and we can be doing, most of the people that are here have 2 computers. Like Linda said, she's going to get her second computer up and running.
okay.
And we'll be able to do what you're doing for ourselves at the same time. So
How I learned by doing.
That would be awesome. I'll share my screen and we'll walk through it step by step and have a lot of fun. My plan is to have a lot of fun. So you guys are already fun. I've just been enjoying sitting and like, oh wow, this is pretty awesome.
We're going to just solve all the problems of the world here.
That's right.
Good. Get it over with.
I don't know why I thought today was the 20th. I'm a whole week early. I thought we were having this screen sharing Google stuff today.
No, next week.
next week. Well, I guess I did kind of confuse people by putting the event up this morning. People thought it would be now. But I wanted to get enough people to get a chance to see it and to, get their questions together. Larry has a question already. So what I'm going to say is for people to put their questions actually in the event. And I have a thing that I want to talk about with Google Forms too. So
excellent.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Pardon?
Can we share the link for that?
We'll share the links privately in chat because this is it will go on air, and I do put it on Google, and it is international on Google, believe it or not. We have a fairly big group internationally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's people that when they come on, it's actually Saturday morning, like in Malaysia and Australia and that.
Oh.
So.
Wow, I had no idea.
Well, I'm curious to see how the Google Forms compares to the forms for Smartsheet.
Oh, there you go.
So are a lot of you Smartsheet users?
I love
Sarah is a big Smartsheet user. I use Smartsheets, but she's the expert.
Yeah, I use it for my tax practice and keeping track of everybody. Helps keep me sane. Keeps me sane.
Yeah,
we came up with a way. We have a nonprofit. They would open the mail and then make Xerox copies of all the checks, the contribution checks, and then get them to the bank. And then I found that then my gals were actually keying in sales receipts. And if they were a new donor, they had to set up a new customer, and it was very time consuming. So I set up a form, and now whoever's opening the mail just starts logging in the checks, and it feeds to a spreadsheet, and we bring that in as a sales receipt into QuickBooks with Transaction Pro Importer. It takes about 30 seconds to do a couple hundred.
Very cool, very cool. Well, definitely Google Forms can hook into a Google spreadsheet, but I'm not super familiar with that feature in Smartsheet, so I'd love to hear,
Yeah, maybe I could even, share screen too, because there are a lot of fields that I need in QuickBooks that I didn't need them to fill out, so I had hidden fields.
Yep.
So if Google Forms will do that, I mean, that's,
I can't wait to see the Google Forms. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Because a lot of
Google
people are
Forms
interested in this.
Is it free or is it part of the G Suite that you have to pay for, or how's that work?
Both. So if you have a Gmail account, you'll have a free access to Google Drive, which gives you Google Forms and Sheets and Docs and Slides. And then if you're paying for Google Apps or for G Suite as part of your business, you also have access. The amount of storage space you get varies, and some other smaller features vary depending if you have a regular Gmail account versus a business account. But both cases you get access.
Yeah, it'd be cool to figure out how to design it in Google Sheets to share with people who don't want to pay for the smart sheets.
What's the difference between having Google Suite and having just regular Gmail?
There's no difference really. You just have to navigate to drive.google.com and it's all there. A lot of people don't use their Google Drive, but it's really,
and that's a shame.
Well, the reason I ask is I have like a terabyte of the Google Drive, and it's about half full right now. And I paid like $10 a month, and I have Gmail, and it looked like, I'm just wondering what it would get me other than what I've already have now, in terms of would I have the same Gmail account?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have a whole. If you sign into that Gmail account and then go to drive.google.com, you'll be able to see all of those things, and you could share some of those files with across accounts if you want.
Well, I guess my question is that since we're already paying like $10 a month, and it seemed like that's what Google Drive or G Suite was, could I just sign up? I mean, it sounded like the Google Drive was included in G Suite.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if I can just change to G Suite, but I don't want to get charged an extra $10 a month since I'm already paying $10 for the Drive.
Yeah. The big difference would just be storage. So let me see if I can look that up really fast.
Well, I've got like a terabyte on what I'm paying now for $10 a month.
That's not bad.
But you didn't get G Suite. All you got was
just let all the mail pile up in your Gmail?
Well, my Gmail is actually sort of integrated with my website, but I use Zoho, and so what I do is I forward. I use like my Gmail account on my business cards, but it automatically gets forwarded to my Zoho account because that way I can track the emails in one spot.
Okay.
Right.
Your CRM in Zoho.
Yeah, I use my CRM. It's like
the
Zoho account, but I automatically forward everything from this one Gmail account.
Do you email out of Zoho? Like, do you respond back to a client while in Zoho, or do you go back over to your mail app?
No, I respond in Zoho. So, but it's kind of like it can get a little confusing, I guess, for the client. But usually, they will. So they can send it to the Zoho account. They can send it to my Gmail account. But the confusing thing is that I've got another Gmail account that's using the Drive account, and then for the terabyte. So I've got like about 3 or 4 different Gmail accounts. So it's getting kind of confusing.
Well, I think you can actually get them merged together. I think the guy that does, is it Steve Dotto or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. He's my
Evernote buddy.
Who said
really
how you
loves
put them
Evernote.
together. Because I have I think I have 3 or 4 Gmail accounts, but they're not linked together.
Yeah.
Well, I have a Gmail account that's completely empty, and I've only used it to test things out. That's what I'll be using next week. So if I want to share my screen, I can do it.
That's smart. Yeah.
Is that your spam account?
My spam account. I set up a Gmail account called Rodkey Spam.
I remember back in the day when if you had a Gmail, Yahoo, any of those types of account, it was like considered unprofessional. Now you see companies who don't even bother to use the company name, just use a Gmail account, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I've done from the very beginning. I mean, I do have, the company website that I can do my emails through there. But I very rarely even go into it or even check it at this point. Everything is through Gmail. And I'm glad that I did that now.
At one point, my domain name was hosted by Google.
Right.
So it was all linked together, even though my email is asbinc.net. But then what happened? I changed websites. Then it went all back over to 100% Microsoft or something.
Yeah. But so I have a question for you, Dennis. Why don't you use Zoho documents? Because the Zoho has like a similar.
Do they? I'm not sure. I mean, I have kind of scratched the surface on Zoho. I know they've got a Zoho Assist, which is sort of like LogMeIn, but it's only like about $15 a month or $12 a month to pay annually. And it looks very similar to LogMeIn, although I don't really use LogMeIn anymore. Since I used to, when I worked in an outside office, I would have all my stuff on my hard drive at my computer at home, and then I would just log in from LogMeIn at the office. And so, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's kind of like a chat, which I mean, I'm just right now until October 16th, I'm just kind of slammed. But after that, I've got all these other things that are sort of I've kind of shoved in the closet. It's going to kind of collapse on me when I open the door after the 16th. It's just going to come cascading out.
Well, you know what? I think a lot of people are in that position now. You know, it's what you do on the computer and how you work has changed so much.
Oh, yeah.
In the last couple years. I mean, you used to have to put everything on your desktop. And now you want as much as you can in the cloud, because when your desktop crashes or whatever,
or if you have to relocate
because power is out, you
have to
pick up a laptop and go somewhere else and work.
Or if someone drops a hydrogen bomb in your backyard and you need to relocate, you know.
Oh my!
Or in Sarah's case,
well, I live in Seattle, so I'm kind of sensitive to that kind of.
I see.
My concern is this, okay? I got a new laptop, and I found out that the Microsoft Office 2013 that I had installed on my desktop, there was only one license, and they don't let you load one license on two computers.
Can't move it.
So I signed up for it, and I got Office 365 on the laptop.
Okay.
But you know, I have no clue how to get to Office 365 on the desktop. And if I do, will it turn all my 2016 documents, 2013 documents, and Excel sheets into 2016?
No,
I have done, and I don't even know where to find out about that.
No, that's the software doesn't change your documents.
Yeah, it doesn't change your documents.
Well, they give you, when you have Office 365, they give you a link to download it to your desktop. I mean, I have Office 365, but I have the desktop Excel.
Yeah, laptop, desktop. I mean,
I think
I don't have a problem with it.
use Google and you don't have that problem at all.
Oh,
Microsoft is so confusing the way they have all these crazy versions that it's just mind-numbing trying to figure out what's going on.
I think Microsoft gives you an opportunity. I'm trying to think where in the control panel that was, where you can check a box that allows your computer to work with older versions. For example, like Excel files.
Got it.
There is that. I know I've seen it, and I've used it. If you have other people like in your network that have an earlier version, let's say of Excel, and you have the latest version, there's I forget exactly where that is, though. I'm sorry.
Well, usually when I go to save a document, and if I go File Save, it just saves it in whatever format it's in. And if I've sent something from Excel and it was sent in CSV, I have to go Save As. And then I can save it as an Excel. And then I can actually choose, do I want it to be XLSX? Do I want it to be XLS? Or what? And that I know, but
it's a good thing, though, right?
How to get to it from my desktop. I don't know where it
Once
is.
you open it, if you have it on your desktop, all you do is just open the last one that you used, and it's still gonna open up as that version.
Yeah, it's just that if you're on the desktop, there must be a URL to get to your Office 365, and I don't know what it is.
Oh, so to log into your 365, is that what you mean?
Yeah, I only signed up for it on my laptop.
Ah, so if you just go to
It says it's good across like lots of devices, but how do I get to it from my desktop?
Well, way I
here,
get to it is,
I'll paste it in the chat. I'll paste it in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't even worry about it. I just put
Mine's
it
in LastPass. I have to go look and see what the path
There you
is.
go. You have the URL in chat.
Okay.
Click on
Copy and
that
paste
and
that
see if you
copy.
can log in.
You remember what my username and login is?
Laptop. I want to do that over on my desktop.
Right.
Yeah, but you could do that on your desktop, and it will get you into the same online account.
I'll do. That's what I'm going to do right now.
Yeah, see if it works for you.
well, I've got
Awesome.
Office
Copy it and
365.
email it to you.
Is log into my.
So Ada, you come for Google and you're giving us Microsoft information. Thank you.
But
That's all right.
if you install OneDrive, Linda, if you install OneDrive on your desktop.
But I don't see. Part of what my difficulty is it appears as if there's not a map or a picture anywhere that shows the whole thing. And this is what happens to me. Like if I go do GPS, it just shows me a little small part of the map. It doesn't usually show me the whole big map. And this is what's happening on my laptop and my desktop. I'm seeing a small part of the puzzle and I'm not understanding. My mind is like racing, trying to figure out how do all these fit together. Yes, I have OneDrive. Yes, I have Google Drive. I have all this stuff. But I'd like a big picture that would kind of show me, okay, this is here or this is here, and then it goes out like this.
I see.
Making it difficult for yourself from the sound of it.
Maybe I just need to Google that big map of Google.
Bing it, because you'll never find it.
Exactly.
Well, then maybe I could create one.
There you go.
That's what people do. So I'm going to try this here. Log in, HTTP.
Like I just learned that if you can actually manually sum up all your columns in Excel, you can set it to manually do it or to use the automatic sum. I'm trying to help somebody and I have absolutely no clue how she changed her settings. Sometimes I just want to take her hand and do like this and stop touching stuff. And then call me, Peggy, I need help. Well, just stop touching stuff. I don't know what you did. I work here across the hall. What did you do? But we have somebody else that know a lot more than I do. So I called, when she called me, I called him, and come to find out we have to go into the options and change it. Okay, now I know that. If it ever happens at home, I know how to fix it.
Magic, I'm there.
You did it!
I did. Look at that.
Woohoo!
Yay, Linda!
All right.
That is so cool.
Weird is, why don't they tell you that?
Because they want you to ask Google.
Yeah.
They want you to ask Google. That's why.
I'm really kind of. What is SWAY? SWAY?
Oh, it's this new thing from Microsoft. Okay, let me.
So I'm looking at it and I'm going, SWAY?
Yeah, I remember watching a video about it. It's about creating like presentations and
Yeah.
videos,
PowerPoint anymore?
stories.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah, you could be like, have just like something like Zoom where you having a presentation, your picture's up there, but it's like you're operating a presentation.
Yeah.
Newsletters.
I've seen that.
Newsletters?
Yeah.
It's like a website meets a slideshow meets. It's a very yeah, it's a new way to present information, I guess.
Wow. Wow.
I don't remember. I was like trying to hook up my email in Outlook the other day, and I was so lost.
What are you trying to do, Peggy?
I wanted to set my website email addresses up in Outlook because I don't always want to go online to do something. And I could not figure it out, so I ended up setting it up in Gmail.
Oh,
I didn't redirect
I can
my email.
relate.
Yeah, if they say Peggy at westpointbooks.com, I come to westpointbooks@gmail.com.
oh,
Oh, I know what you're talking about. You wanted to have all of your emails come into Outlook.
yeah.
And it used to be really easy to
So
do
easy
it.
to do back in the day. I don't know. I've been out of the loop too long or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Microsoft's improved things too much for us. We can't do what we used to be able to do.
To the point where you don't know.
Too much.
They have all these CRMs out there. Everybody has a new CRM they want you to.
Each one of those applications, is fighting to become your primary email,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and it depends on what you settle on, which one is your primary. Same thing with the browser. You know, Edge is constantly fighting, trying to. I'm using
Windows 10.
Is it Chrome?
Chrome.
Yeah.
I'm using Chrome, and Edge is constantly putting up a little blurb saying, we're better, we're faster, we're more secure.
I know, right? Well, I've been lied to so much that I don't believe that either. So, bye-bye.
Leave it at all. I'm not
What browsers do you all use? Are you Chrome users or
Depends
Firefox?
on what I'm doing.
Chrome. Always use Chrome.
What did you say, Sarah?
I said, well, sometimes things don't like Chrome. So.
You got to speak up, Sarah. It's hard to hear you.
I haven't run into anything yet, Sarah.
Yeah, well, and then my Chrome, I guess, got corrupted or something. So I was in Firefox for a long time, and then Mark fixed it. And I don't know. I think, and what is a lot of the Intuit products? They like a good old fashioned Explorer, but
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I try
There
to
are
stay
still a
in
lot
Chrome.
of things that use Explore. People are not upgrading, or developers are not writing to Edge.
Some companies, I think some developers create their software just to work in a particular browser.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Where it's just about this browser. You can't, like the financial software we use at work, we can only use it in Edge or Explore.
Mm.
You can't use it in any of the other browsers. So
Well, isn't
know-
it QBO that just QBO fights browsers all the time, doesn't it?
I think it's gotten better. I really do. I've been in QBO for a long time, and I think that it's finally getting to the point where it's getting a little bit more stable.
It actually works.
It actually works.
I know one thing, like in
if I only use Chrome, it hasn't given me a problem. So
Mm.
That's what
I
I
know
use. I use Chrome, except sometimes I have to use Edge, but it's not my first choice.
I have to use Explorer for a banking program that I do online banking with, and it requires a program called Rapport, R-A-P-P.
Oh, Rapport.
And
Yeah.
Rapport will only work with Explorer. It will not, and it has to be Explorer 11 or higher. It will not work with Edge.
I used it with Chrome yesterday, but I would go into Chrome. Apparently there's a Chrome update that came down in the last week or two. And if I have the story right. So I would go to, and I couldn't figure out what was making it happen, but an extra tab was opening up and saying, give me this weird error message. And it turned out to be, I had to uninstall the Rapport, and then I had to go get some bank statements yesterday, and it saw that I didn't have it, and it made me install it. but it didn't act up today. So, and I was only using Chrome. So,
Interesting.
yeah, some of the banks only use, what else do they call it? It's 2 words, isn't it? Report.
But I thought when we were working with the banks that, we're using, I guess if we're using, it has to be a QBO file or a CBS file anyway. So why would the browser matter?
Like it's
Well, this particular client, I have to, see,
Yeah.
she has in her
do
hand.
this.
I have a key fob, and so you press the fob, and you have to key in
Yep.
the 10 digits plus your 4-digit code,
Right.
and you have like 30 seconds to do it or something.
Oh, okay, they have that one at work. That's the one they use at work. Okay.
That's the only way I can get bank statements from this one client.
Okay.
Well, I sure wish banks would come up to speed.
I don't know the email address I used.
But then that's why we have HubDocs, right?
That's a whole nother story.
HubDoc won't work with this bank.
Yeah, the older, smaller banks that are
Okay.
still back in the previous century.
The little local banks, just say
But the little key
banks.
fob thing is a pain in the
Local
butt because
bank.
if you don't
This
have the
is-
fob with you.
A big bank, Comerica.
Yeah, this was South State Bank, and if you don't have your key fob, you can't get into your bank account.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Unless if you forget it at work and you go home, then all phooey, and then you forget it at home and you go to work.
It's safe.
Wow.
We've got a couple of them. We have to keep them in the safe.
Wow.
Because the client has set us up as a user, and then they just
Right.
shipped us our own fob. Must be what
I
Linda
think
got.
we have the most unprotected.
Can you see? Is it like that?
That's
Yeah,
why
it
we
looks
had
just
at
like
work.
that.
Yeah,
That's
we have that
exactly
at
what it
work.
looks like.
Changes every like 30 seconds. You
30
type it in
seconds.
fast. You got to type it in twice.
Really quick.
Whoops.
Now, is that a USB?
No, it's a wireless.
All this does is it generates random numbers.
Oh,
See
okay.
the numbers there?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you have to understand that's backward. That's like 113.
It
Okay.
actually looks good on our side.
It looks okay for me.
Changed.
Yeah, it did.
It flipped
We
it.
the-
It mirrored it.
It changes and evidently it's linked over to the bank account by the computer or something.
Oh, wow.
So people can't break into your account then and steal your money.
That's a good thing, though, right there now.
And even if they have the fob, they have to have the last 4 digits. See, I've got my own 4 digits. So you put in those 10 and then plus your 4.
Yeah, that's right. They call that my PIN, and then I put in these. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to type real fast or else you out.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you don't have to actually be real fast. If you had to be real fast, I'd be in trouble.
Yeah, but we're old school. I bet you can 10 key, Linda.
You probably can take people with their toes or something. I don't
We
know.
used to race.
And you could slow the mouse down for the double click. I had to go and slow it all the way down to double click on the mouse.
We used to race. We used to 10 key at work and race things.
A lot of places make you take that test if you're going for a job. You actually have to take a 10
See how fast you can do a calculator.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Who was it that was giving me a hard time because I had a calculator? Was that Seth?
Oh,
Somebody.
really? I had
like,
one. I didn't know.
Sorry, I still use my calculator.
I found that
I know
to me
Excel
that-
will do everything for you, but I just have to have my 10 key.
What did you find, Dennis?
I say that for me, the 2 most useful skills I acquired was 10 key by touch and typing by touch typing,
Yeah.
especially now with computer. I mean, when I first learned on a typewriter, it was really, really
Still
slow.
can't type.
That's probably why we're so fast on the
You know-
typewriter now, because we on the computer keyboard, because we were so had to learn on a regular typewriter. If those kids had to learn today what we had to learn, they'd be in so much trouble.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, it's funny. And when
These
I
are they
type
typing fingers right here. These 2 right here. How they type? My son, he used these 2 right here, and he's fast with it. And I'm like, how do you do that? If I can't use all 8 digits or 10 digits, I'm in trouble.
But have you noticed that there's different kinds of calculators? And I actually took, when my calculator died one time, I actually put it on the copy machine back when I had a copy machine and made a picture of it so I could go to the store and get the exact same layout, because when I sit at Karen's desk, I cannot copy on her calculator.
Right. I have
because the enter or the plus is in a different place.
Right. Or
on the left hand side, and I'm like, well, I can't use it.
And she can't use mine. So if hers dies, I have to make sure that I replace it with the same.
Right. I remember when I first started 10 years ago at the job I'm on, and the lady said, you need to use that 10 key. And I'm looking at it because by now I'm used to using the 10 key on the computer, so I know where everything at, and I'm moving, and I'm like, I don't remember how to use this. Because it had been so long since I used a 10 key calculator. It came back.
I get confused with my keyboard and the phone because they're opposite.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be typing on my keyboard or I should be on my phone or vice versa, and I'm wondering why nothing's happening.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that does
Some give
that.
the option of how you want to set your keyboard up on your phone, though. Do you want to set it up as like the one that's set up on the computer, or do you want to use the regular phone?
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, it depends on what you're using. You can actually,
Wow.
or you can download that kind of calculator.
I'm gonna have to look at that.
There's an app for everything.
Everything. I rarely ever use my phone calculator because I was there looking at it like, where's the clear button? How do I clear this thing?
That goes back to why I said last week, everybody should have a trial run. You're used to your own equipment. You're used to using your own things.
Yeah.
Trial run in case the hydrogen bomb gets dropped and you don't have your office.
Yeah, hopefully I won't be home when that happens.
Okay, thank you.
No, I want to be home if that happens, because I remember telling my husband, I said, look, we are near Fort Hunter. And
not too far from Fort Gordon.
And then there's the Paris Island. So you got the Navy and the Army and the Air Force is all right here. And I said, you know what? If a bomb's coming, I'm gonna go launch here in the front yard and watch the show. I don't want to survive it. I want to be.
No, I don't either. I'd rather be vaporized.
Either I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Vaporized.
Putting up with that.
I don't want to vaporize. Just let me be asleep when it happened. That's all I need. There was a time I would get on the plane, and before I got off the runway, I would sleep. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. I'm asleep.
Yeah, I can
But
sleep
we used to have the duck and cover drills. When I was a kid, we had the duck and cover drills at school, you know.
Yeah,
like that really would have helped, huh?
Yeah, right.
Telling our age,
All hiding under the desks, you know.
But seriously, you really should practice going somewhere else and working elsewhere.
I do it all the time when I go to my daughter's up in Orlando, though. I mean, it's so easy, especially with Google Drive. You can't miss.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One day I remember that I had a thumb drive. Oh, I do have one of those.
Yeah, well, I just did it last week at my sister's, and like I said, the thing I forgot was my calculator. So, yeah, I was reduced to use my phone, and it was much slower.
You know what? iPad has a really cool calculator on it, too, though. The iPad, it has a really cool calculator. I love it. I mean,
one of the things that I was really surprised about is, you know, all the houses that burned in Northern California, like 2,300 of them, I guess.
Wow.
That it sounded as if most of those people had not scanned in the photographs of their kids or anything.
Oh.
That they looked.
Oh, Linda, you know, it depends on when these photographs were taken. I have albums upon albums upon albums of, I'll say 2,000.
I think I had 3
pictures and Polaroids and, you know,
Yeah,
my
but you can
mom's
use
pictures, even my grandmother's pictures. And today, you don't see prints the way that you did back then.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's digital. go to your phone and you scroll through them.
Right.
Well,
When I paid a lady who would feed them through a special scanner, I just thought for my 60th birthday and my 70th birthday, I thought, you know what? I'm going to just feed all these pictures in. I'm going to pay somebody to feed them in. I think it cost me $50. But I mean, I don't know that I probably only had 500 pictures.
Okay.
Oh, I've got boxes. That's the first
Yeah,
thing in
with
the car.
It's
They're already
nasty.
designated.
Oh, I'm sorry. My truck was full, and it was mostly pictures because I refuse. I said they are irreplaceable, but everything else, I said, oh hell, I'll buy it again.
Right.
yeah.
If the storm get it, it gets it. I'll buy it. I can't buy pictures over again, but I can buy everything else over again. So
Well,
Right.
apparently
it's in the
some
box. I refuse to unpack it until November 30th.
of those people didn't mean they were woken up in the middle of the night, look outside and their house is burned, you know.
They were lucky to get out with the clothes on their backs.
Did you see that one picture of Google Map or Google Earth where it had before and after, and it was like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I mean,
So
can you imagine
sad.
people got all their wealth in their house and then now it's just sort of gone?
I just saw a video of the couple that it wasn't their yard. They actually got out of the house.
Oh, and they
They
went
got
into a
into the
swimming
neighbor's
pool
pool.
next door.
They went into the swimming pool and oh my gosh, how terrifying. They were like 6 hours in that pool.
Yeah, I guess
Oh,
the
my
woman died though.
gosh.
I guess the woman died though.
Oh
Or
wow.
what-
No, I don't think so.
I just read one where maybe a different couple, but they got in the pool, but they suffocated, or the wife suffocated because of the smoke.
Right.
Oh.
No, these people took
This was a couple,
and made
yeah.
it wet and put it over their heads.
Might
So-
be a different couple.
Yeah, no, you can't breathe in that
Well,
smoke.
yeah,
That's
it
terrible.
depends on
My
how
heart
close. I
goes
think they
out.
were like at the edge of I saw rock and dirt and everything, so it looked like once at least that
Right.
side of the yard or the property wasn't on fire. The other side, the house burned and the trees were going up, but maybe they were far enough away. I don't know, but
Is
yeah,
this at
it
the
sucks all
beginning
that.
of the fire?
Huh?
Was this at the beginning of the fire
I
that
don't
we're
know.
talking about, or are we talking
The
about?
fire went so fast. It went so fast. The
Okay.
people
They said they had no warning, like
None
a
whatsoever.
warning from the police or the neighborhood or anything.
Wow.
Their
Well, they
daughter
tried-
called them long distance and told them to get out, and they're like, "Oh, okay," but they were dragging their feet or something. And next thing you know, they were on
Well, they
fire.
couldn't see the fire, and then all of a sudden it came over a hill,
Yeah,
and the
boom.
house was on fire. And they tried to jump in the truck, and their fire was all around them.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So they got in their neighbor's pool. Yeah.
So we're blessed on my end then. We have warning.
So you're happy with your rain now.
Oh yeah. The governor started talking to us when they first started talking about Irma, about how big she was and you know how devastating she was going to be. They really, to me, the newscasters are just people like us. They talk a lot, right? But this time they put so much fear in Peggy's heart that Peggy said, "Oh, I'm out." I was gonna wait.
Wow, Dennis. I
just put
saw
a link
it.
I just put a link in the chat.
Thank you. Yeah.
I don't want to see it yet. I'll cry if I see it.
Linda, do you smell the smoke?
At all?
Where you
I was
are?
going to ask you
Yeah,
that.
we smell the smoke here. It's not a real strong smoke smell. What I notice is my eyes are kind of burning a little bit.
Somebody get music. Is that me?
Oh, that's my wife's teaching piano.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We are really just about out of time, but I did want Linda to talk about the certifications. We
Oh.
have certifications that are expiring and new ones coming up.
A certification.
If you haven't done 2016, and
I can't remember if I did 16 or not.
I started 2016, and it turns out I did 3 out of the 4. I just went back in to check. So I'm working on the 4th one now to do 2016. Then I'm going to go do 2017, and it it ends, and this is really odd. I'm not sure when they decided to switch from, usually they would say it's going to be taken down at 12 midnight.
Right.
They started saying 12 p.m., which is 12 noon. They did that in 2015. And I was actually in the 2015 certification. I had like 10 more questions to go. It was 9 o'clock in the morning, and I was on the phone with QuickBooks tech support, and they took it down.
Desktop, QuickBooks Desktop.
Eastern time. Eastern time.
And they're in the West, which I don't understand.
That's crazy.
So I'm sure it was just a miscommunication. So I still actually have that email, because I thought if I got the 2016 and I got the 2017, I was actually going to contact Brad Smith, because I want to do the advanced.
Are we talking about the desktop version of QuickBooks?
Yeah.
The desktop now.
I usually do
the advanced
2 at a time.
online.
So 2016 expires.
On Monday, October 30th, which is the day before Halloween, and it expires at 12 noon. And I don't think they tell you what time zone.
Oh,
You have
wow.
to go look.
Wow.
Okay? But if it was me, I would just figure it was going to be taken down at 12 noon Eastern time. That's
On
what
the 30th.
just to be safe.
You
Because
to be real safe,
Do
you
it
want it done
earlier.
by the 29th,
the
actually.
thing is, yeah, why do you want to be on there with everybody else that waited till the last minute? That's not a good way. It's like, have you ever tried to get an extension on the IRS website at just 10 minutes before midnight?
You
Everybody
can't.
else is there trying to do the same thing. So,
Right.
so
No,
you,
I
probably
sure hope
me.
that I took 15 and 16. I always do two at a time. I sure hope I took 15 and 16 together.
Where are we
So
taking these?
17 is up now, and 18 has just come out.
too, because I'm not that good at the accounting part. And so if I do 2017 accounting, then it'll make it easier to do 2018 accounting. So anyway, and 2018, it's going to be available sometime in November. When it comes available, they'll send us another email.
Yeah.
I got my hand up because I have a question.
I think it's the 20th. I think it's Monday the 20th.
Is this what that part of that where you pay $500 and something a year and they give you the
Yeah.
version?
Yeah.
But you can do it for the $300 too. You still get that with the lower price one too.
I just paid $800 last week.
Oh my gosh, is that what it's up to?
You have the kind, Sarah, that automatically renews. You have a
Yeah.
different bird. You have something that's 800 a year instead of
Yeah,
the.
it's
Is that-
800 and it's
Is that enterprise?
enhanced. Well, I have to have enterprise because of one client, and I might be getting another one, so I went ahead and did that. And then
So I
it
think
has
I think
payroll.
enterprise with the 550. Do you have to have POS?
No, I don't need POS, but I have to have enhanced payroll. I think that's the difference.
That's it. It's your advanced payroll. Got it.
Mhm.
Because you get the QB Online, you get the Desktop Pro, Premier, Accountant, Enterprise Solutions, and you get the Mac. Well, the Mac stuff.
You get do they send you the
Right.
disc? They send you the disc or
No, it's
all
download
online
now.
it's all
They
down?
you used to get a nice package
We
and a
used to get
Oh, yeah.
binder and yeah,
Oh,
you get
yeah.
nothing but a notice in your email now.
Yeah.
They need to reduce the cost if they're gonna reduce the process.
Yeah, they
Oh,
went from the
aren't paying
binder
sales
just to a
tax here
CD.
anymore.
Yeah, they went from a binder to the CD to now the download.
Right.
Yep, exactly.
Same price though, right?
Yep.
It is. And the other thing that's really nice, actually, whatever your license number is, it's stayed the same now for like, I don't
Oh,
know how
really?
many years. Five
never
years
noticed.
or more.
I have to
You just
look.
changed the product? You just changed the product number?
The product number does change because each
Yeah.
product is different, but
I never noticed that.
yeah, the license number is the same.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat.
How many licenses do you get with this?
One of each.
One of each.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
like
office like Sarah has, where she has employees.
right. So what I do is
One of them.
I like all my clients just went from 14 to 17.
Oh, that's a different one. Okay, let me look and see.
And then now I was looking at 18, so I'm going to talk to them and say, is there enough features in 18 for me to buy a 5-user pack of the accountant's version and then convert all our in-house clients?
Right.
But it has to be, I mean, it's expensive. So it's like, okay, what, but there are some really cool features in 18. So.
Yeah, to me, $550
Sign up for it,
a year is cheap for when I'm earning a living from it.
Yeah.
So, and all that training that you get,
The
and
training is what, and support is what makes it worth it.
yeah, and I have to say though that the QuickBooks Online support is absolutely totally amazing. It is
Yeah.
what made learning the QuickBooks Online worth it to me, because I finally realized that all the troubleshooting that I've been doing in desktop that I'm so good at, it's the same thing. It's just where you access it in online is different. But
I'm so amazed.
I had a situation.
I'm very amazed.
But if you get on the phone with them, I've been on the phone with those people at support for an hour and a half or 2 hours at a time.
I actually had a situation a couple of years ago where I had a desktop problem, and QBO support was able to solve it, and not the desktop support.
Well, that's probably because they moved from a desktop department.
That's probably true.
I don't know,
That's
but
true.
The new people are not aware of desktop at all, which I said is fine. I don't have a problem. If I want help with online, I want help with online.
I think they can read from the screen when they're helping you. Some of them.
Some
Yeah.
of
On the desktop, yeah. I've got, at the higher levels, you don't get that.
No. And when I had that client that had 6 different sales tax payable accounts in their QB Online file,
Oh yeah.
the way I solved it, and it took me probably month and a half figuring it out, talking to like the top people. And I even, I discussed it when they did the QBO advanced training. I actually talked to those people. You cannot merge sales tax payable accounts at all, ever. But it turns out you can make them sub-accounts, and you pick which one you want to be your main account, and you make them all sub-accounts.
Got it. Alrighty, we're going to end on that unless anyone else has anything else to say.
Awesome.
Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend. Next week, we will be with Ada. We will be playing Google Forms. Join us.
See you next week.
Enjoy. Have a
See
good
you next week,
weekend,
everyone.
Bye. Bye.